First I'll tell my story of Paruresis, and then I'll tell more about this series. So I've been a paruretic since 16 years old. And the first time I associated fear with peeing was back in high school, was when some of my classmates were pushing others at the urinal as a source of fun. And I want to make sure that that never happened to me, because it was somehow I was terrified for it. And also at that time I was disgusted for public toilets, and I avoided going to them as much as possible and always went home. But then at some point I decided I was no longer going to go home, because holding it in for such a long time was getting annoying. So I started going to school, and then I went to a urinal one point, and I noticed that I couldn't pee at the urinal. And this was the first time I encountered my shy bladder. It felt very strange. And then, as if instinctively, I went to a stall, and it came immediately. So then I thought, well, let's just go to the stall all the time and we'll be fine. So I went to the stalls for a while, and it went okay. But at some point I noticed that it kept getting more difficult in crowded places. In crowded places it was harder for me to let go. At this point it wasn't much of a problem in my life yet. But gradually it became more and more of a problem as I avoided more and more toilets. The next step was that I had to use my phone in order to distract me to be able to go. After that, it didn't work anymore. I had to flush the toilet. And at some point I even had to do something so pathetic as having to flush the toilet and put the water on my dick in order to let go. At that point I really just started to feel the shame and patheticness of Paruresis. By the time I started college, it had gotten so bad that I was able to be at extremely quiet toilets, such as home, and I was able to be under showers. But even at extremely quiet toilets, it sometimes took a long time before I could go. This feels so depressing. I guess someone without this could never know what it feels like. I'm glad I have surpassed that point already. The one safe place that remained at that point was the shower. I've never heard anyone else in the Paruresis society tell about this method, but when I go under the shower and I put warm water on my bladder, it relaxes automatically. So that's a safe way that always works for me, that I could always count on. But when college started, I really started to feel the frustration of Paruresis, and how you can get even suicidal because of having this, as it takes more and more freedom of your life. From the moment I woke up, I had the fear in my mind that I wouldn't be able to pee. I went to college at another place and I had to take the train to get there, and so I wouldn't be able to pee in the train. Then came school, and there were only 2 toilets in the entire campus, which were quiet enough for me to have a slight chance of being able to go. So these were my main toilets. And what made it even more difficult is that I was so ashamed of Paruretic that I didn't want anyone who knew me, even by face, to know that I had this. So I made sure that no one ever saw me going to one of these secret toilets. It sounds quite paranoia when you hear it, I suppose. But that's the way it was. It was so bad. When I was at a lecture and I had to pee, I couldn't go to the toilets because, well, the quiet toilets sometimes were like 15 minutes away from the lecture, and that made it a no. So sometimes I had to hold my pee the entire day, and this made life very frustrating because I didn't have the freedom to be anywhere I wanted. It was very difficult for me to connect with people because of this secretive behavior. I had to plan my entire day, what I was drinking, where I was going. There's no way to live. So it became more and more frustrating every day, and at that time I decided I would do graduate exposure therapy for the first time. In the summer I went to a psychologist and I bought the Paruresis treatment system, and every day of my summer I worked on a list. This list I composed from with help from the psychologist, and it had toilets which ranged in difficulty from easy to very hard. And every day after vacation I would go to some place which had one of these toilets, and gradually I would proceed further and further on this list and doing more and more difficult toilets. And this was a very, very heartbreaking period. I had to go to very sad periods where it didn't work, and I was crying, and there were angry people, and I felt so afraid. But after it, I got my reward. For the first time ever in life, I noticed what happens when you overcome something that's very difficult, that you didn't ever imagine you could overcome. Well, be careful with overcome, because it wasn't entirely overcome. So I had a massive confidence boost at that time, which is a very nice thing I got from this problem. And my progress was from severely anxious paruretic to moderate anxiety, which made life livable. It made it livable, and that was enough at that time. However, when I stopped, I wanted to get more and more out of my comfort zone with my new obtained confidence, and I went longboarding. I picked up the hobby longboarding, so I went more outside, and also I started to do more group activities. And I slowly noticed that it became more difficult to be at stalls, and that I couldn't progress further to the urinals or outside peeing, and it was actually getting worse. And now I'm in the point of my life where I once again feel trapped by this problem, like it's preventing me. I've become adept at dealing with one-on-one friendships, because then I'm able to tell of my problem, as I don't feel afraid of one-on-one confrontations. But when it's a group of people, it's difficult for me, and it's hard to get over this group thing. And I want to expand to being able to handle group friendships and group activities as well. What I'm currently having now is that when I'm doing activities with single friends, or even with smaller groups or groups of friends, I'm afraid of having to go to pee, because I might take long and I have to wait long for me. And because of this, I often take a long time at the toilets, and this annoys me, because, well, they get frustrated because of it, and it's also not nice for me. And also, because I go outside more often, I get confronted by not being able to just be anywhere outside, because whenever there are people outside, I get stressed out as fuck. So I have to find the most quiet place in the park, and then I'll be fine. And that's getting really annoying. I also want to be able to pee at urinals normally, finally, and be able to travel on trains and planes normally. These places are often confronting me with not being able to pee normally, and I've decided it's enough, and I want to expand further out of my comfort zone. In order to do that, I have to overcome this paruresis. So the goal of this journey will be to go from moderate paruretic to being able to be even outside in daylight with a large group of people watching me. You might ask yourself, why would I make this a public series? I'm making this a public series because I know how depressing it can be to have this condition. What I felt most is how little faith there was for me that I could ever overcome this. And I still have little faith that I can ever I still have a small amount of faith that I can ever overcome this, because I know how the previous exposure went, that it went well. But many people might not have this and also feel suicidal about this condition, very depressed. And by sharing my journey, I hope to encourage and inspire and give hope to fellow paruretics, so that they will also have faith that it can be done.